Everybody is sick. Everyone.
Hey, Chatty Cathy, you gonna come in and join us? Is he still out there?
Talking to
Yeah,
Keith.
right here.
Yeah, seeing that's 5 o'clock, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Budget, budget, budget,
Budget.
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 Almost there.
So,
Sure.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. So, did you want me to start out with my discussion with Ben, or did you want to kind of go into?
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So, got a chance to speak with Chief Hatcher of the fire department, and he had said that the budget that they presented was really the one that they wanted to put forward, and felt that it was showed the true costs of running the department and the way that he would like to run it and to have it run. Because in years past, they've always seemed to take from one area in order to cover a different area because they always were just so tight with everything. But he feels that we won't have any conversations in October or November about labor lines or any of the things that they had requested in the budget, like for repair type items, like having to reallocate money and stuff. So if that's his wishes, but he said if we absolutely ask him to or tell them to, that they'll work with whatever that we give them. So, and as far as the warrant article, I guess did he touch base with you today, Debbie?
The other day. Yeah, we're meeting at 11 on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah, that's what he had said too. Yeah.
Which we need to get the warrant article done so it can be submitted to the.
Yeah,
Like
so we can have
we
it for
have to do
review
it that
Monday.
day.
Yeah. Yep. Alright, so that's all I have. And for you all that don't know, still having some hearing issues, so I apologize for like saying or whatnot, but I'll do my best. It's a little bit better, I can kinda hear out up here, so good to go. Floor is yours, Joe.
Oh,
Oh.
did Lou get a chance to talk with the chief or?
Yes,
Oh,
I was waiting until we got going on the whole thing, on reviewing it, that's all.
okay. Cause that was the two things that were.
Yeah.
Yeah, outstanding for budget. Yep.
What did Mike say?
Was there any discussion with the chief about the amount of calls that are being taken by the fire department that aren't necessarily fire related or?
Not so much, but what he did say is that, I apologize for not mentioning this a minute ago, they're gonna but they're actually gonna institute a cap right now with the current membership, which is at 36, and not process any more applications, because they want to get a better handle on, who they have, who's been active, and make sure that they're allocating resources efficiently.
Oh.
So they're gonna start that review tomorrow night.
That's the fire department?
Correct.
Okay.
So he called it a voluntary cap, or a self-imposed cap of 36, but now he knows that number's there, and we'll have discussions if they want to go over that or not.
Good discussion.
What's that?
Good discussion.
Yeah. That was good. Alright, so
Police?
police, you could take it down to 5%. Chief's already approved it.
Oh, down from the 7.5. Okay.
So that's his,
Hmm?
his
His ask.
proposal is
Mhm.
5%. Yeah.
That's what you asked for, wasn't it?
A few different scenarios, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so, Debbie passed out a handout. It's the email I sent out on Saturday. And really, it just kind of tried to summarize what we talked about, as well as I played a couple of scenarios of making adjustments. A couple of important things. We started our budget with an increase of $344,000 or 10.26%. After reviewing the expense items and wage adjustments and so forth, we were able to drop that down to $277,000 or an 8.2% adjustment or increase over last year's budget. That had the assumptions that 0% COLA, the fire department got 39% increase in hours, fire department got a 15% increase in stipends, and the police department got a 7.5% increase in wages. Now, I have a note there that says approximation. The chief has a set value by contract that's less than that, so that's taken into consideration. And there was one officer that got several increases this past year off cycle, and he was not getting a 7.5, but I've included that here as well. So he did not get a 7.5, he got something less.
Can I just, sorry,
Go
I just
ahead,
wanna
yeah.
clarify, so that 8.27 includes all those things you just listed?
It does, yes, but no
Okay.
COLA.
But no COLA, got
Yep.
it.
If you look at the requested adjustments, like the fire department, 39%, that's a $16,000 impact to the budget. The stipend increase, that was 4.6, 4.7 thousand increase, and then the police department was $26,000 increase.
So if we take the police department down to 5%,
Yep, we can take that down to 5%. Yep. So that'll be about, what, 18,000 maybe? So, still a good help. So what I did on the second page there, the first scenario was leaving the fire, police department recommended increases there. I did scenarios with 0, 2%, 3%, 4%, and 5%. And you can see the delta comment, the delta row above says how much the budget was increased and the percentage increase below that.
Can you interrupt one more time? This is just wages that we're talking about, not the total budget up there, we've been talking about. Right.
This is the impact on the total budget.
Yeah, because it's 3.6 million.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
was
not
looking
just
at
wages.
this here, the very top part of your email,
Yeah.
and
so
this is just,
this is just the increases by the what
okay,
happens to the budget with a 39% increase
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
fire, and that's
Okay.
the increase, the dollar
Okay.
value.
alright. And
It-
then the rest of it includes all the 1s, 2s, and 3s?
Yes.
Okay.
No, it
No.
only includes those that have been approved. So there's a couple of 3s in there that are still yeses.
Pending,
There's quite a few note that yeses in the priority 2s that we should probably talk a little bit more about.
okay,
But anything that we've decided we're not going to support, it's already been taken out.
okay,
That's what got us from the $344,000 increase down to $277,000.
okay,
So the scenario 2, 3, and 4 are basically the same thing. The change I made is in the yellow column. scenario 2, I said, okay, let's just take away the 7.5% from the police, and then we'll make the police get the COLA of 2%, 3%, 4%, and 5%, and take a look at the impact of that.
Let's also consider 1% straight across the board for COLA.
I did not do 1%.
Okay.
Just because nobody actually said one in an example, but I could do that if you want to see it. But
I just wanna see what the numbers are.
yep, I can do that.
I'd also like to see the numbers with the fire department down to 20 hours instead of 39.
Yep, so the next scenario down, scenario 3, has the fire increased hours at 20% as opposed to 39%.
At 1%?
At 20% increase in hours as opposed to 39% increase in hours,
Okay.
scenario 3.
I thought it was just, they were looking at, 39 hours of, so that would be a 50, going down to 20 hours would be a 50%, or close to a 50% decrease.
Yeah, so it's not actually hours, it's a percentage of hours. So they, for each of the firemen, they have a certain number of hours that they are budgeting for, and they want to update the overall percentage by 39%.
Oh, I see, I thought that they were looking to add another 39 hours worth of,
Yeah, no, it was an increase in percentage by
increase
percentage.
to it. Okay. So, again, instead of 39%, let's take it down to 20%.
Yeah, that would only just, it'd be around 8,000, it would just be half of the 16 at 39.
Right.
It'd be about an $8,000
Yeah.
increase instead of a 16,000.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at that COLA scenario 3,
Okay, I'm there.
that one is the fire increased hours at 20%, like you were just asking, instead of the 39. And then what the effect would be with the 2%, 3%, 4% on everybody else.
And that scenario 3 is also, the PD is just in line with whatever the COLA would be.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then scenario 4, I reduced the fire stipend increase from 15% down to 10%. So scenario 4 has 20% increase in hours, 10% increase in fire stipends, and then the police department is aligned with COLA. And really, this is just to show some examples of what we can do. I'm not saying we have to pick scenario 1, 2, 3, or 4, but you can take a look at the impact on the overall percentage to the budget with these scenarios, and then we can experiment with those as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not real easy to do live. It's not something I can make all these changes at one time and then look at and show it on the screen. I make a change and then I have to refresh and then go back. It takes me a little while to do it. So, but if we understand, like Lou said, I can add 1%. I can do that in probably an hour or so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. No, and then the last page, there are a few things that we had already approved, and I just wanted to summarize those. So you take a look at that. You can see here are some of the things that we already approved, and those are included in the numbers that you're seeing in those different scenarios already. So
Last page being 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one.
And one thing that I was thinking is if we could consider what the town may consider acceptable overall, we could go through this range and say if we're looking at, say, I think I used 8.5 in my example. We look at scenario 1, and if we go up to 2% COLA in scenario 1, we're already over 8.5% overall increase in budget. So that would push us down to the 2%. Push it away from COLA, that 2%, probably push it to the 1% like Louis suggested. when we get to scenario 3 and 4, if you're still looking at 8.5, scenario 3 says we can go all the way up to a 4% COLA, and then scenario 4 says, you know, we can't do 5, but 4% is still within that area of comfort. Now that obviously assumes that we're happy with the 8.5% increase.
But there are still other things in the budget other than wages that can or may be adjusted.
There are, yes.
So that could be.
Yep.
Gotcha. Which would affect these numbers as
It would
well.
lower these,
Yeah.
yes, yep. And I don't think we have to digest this tonight, but I wanted to make sure you understood what's in there so you can start thinking about the impact of COLA across the overall budget.
Cause all those COLAs also take into account FICA, Medicare, New Hampshire retirement, all of that.
That's included in
Yeah,
the impact, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Cause it's not just wages, it's
Right.
the whole package.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So we're looking at roughly a $70,000 spread from giving
Everything.
COLA for 0, scenario 4, 0 COLA, all the way up to scenario 1, 5% COLA. That's
Big difference, yep.
69,906.
Yep.
Is the number that theoretically we could play with then,
Yeah.
but we're not gonna gain any more than that.
There's even like in where we're at with conversations, I guess scenario 2 with 3% COLA is probably the closest.
To where we are right now.
Yeah, like with the feedback from both chiefs.
Oh
and
yeah.
But that's just with the 3% for the PD officer increases instead of the 5.
I'm sorry, what percent for the officer?
3. I'm just using the
I
grid
understand.
that's here, so it's COLA scenario 2
Mm-hmm.
with 3% COLA.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about 3% COLA rather than the 5% I was talking about.
Well, and the number that's included in this grid was actually 3% for the PD officers, like for that line.
Instead of the 5%,
Yeah, just
are we talking COLA or are we talking about the pay raise portion?
well, the police officers, they're looking to get a little like a 5% COLA, right?
I was talking about, the number I wanted was just 1% COLA straight across the board.
Yeah.
But the police are asking for 7.5, but they went down to 5.
They went down to 5%
Right.
for the salary increase.
Right, so you're gonna give, so you wanna include 5% COLA for the police and then 1% for everybody
No.
else, is that, or just 1% across the board for everyone?
Across the board.
So that scenario 2 then brings it down to a $61,000 up range.
Gap.
And what two numbers are we going from?
Going from this number to this number. So scenario.
Oh, the absolute low, yeah,
The
yeah,
absolute low
Gotcha.
that's being proposed here, we can go lower
yeah, yeah,
by cutting wages.
yeah. Hey, giddy up.
Just remember retention.
Okay, so I'll do another scenario, adding 1% to each of these scenarios, and I'll do a scenario with the PD at 5%, and then fire stipends at 15, fire hourly increase at 39%.
Should wait to see what
39%? I thought
what
we were
this
gonna-
meeting brings tonight. We may not.
With the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the fire go from 39% down to 20%.
He already did
Yep.
that,
That one's
Yeah, okay,
on scenario 4.
okay.
But Lou, I can update that with the new
with the 1%.
1% and the 5%
Okay.
for the police department.
That's fine.
So
And I don't know if
1%.
it makes substantial difference, we can probably just take the PD down to about 4.5. They may start screaming at that point, but I have your quotes.
So, but you want 1%.
Hmm?
You want 1%.
1% COLA. going
That's what
across
we're
the
talking
board.
about. The 5% is also, that's COLA.
Is what?
COLA.
The 5% is COLA? No,
So he wants a
5%
5%
pay raise.
salary increase,
Correct.
bless you,
The
and then a
7.5
1% COLA on top of that.
Correct.
Oh, so he really wants a 6%.
Total.
You know, it looks
Oh,
like,
so-
Lou, just quickly looking at it, it looks like it's about a $7,000 step from 5% to 4%, 3%, 2%. So I think if you're really
Are you
curious,
talking salary or are you talking COLA at that point?
just the COLA, the delta on the COLA.
Okay,
So like if you go in that scenario 1, it goes 311 to 304 to 297.
right, it's about it's
290.
about $7,000.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that 1% would be like 283, somewhere in there.
And then, what we've done in past years is any salary that's gotten an adjustment isn't eligible for COLA. Like, so that the 5% wouldn't be compounded with the 1% on top of it.
Mhm.
Like, so they're, like, the PD salaries were just looking at separately, like in that department, and he was requesting that 5% increase. So that's essentially their COLA increase.
Well, they were they were asking for a 7.5% increase.
Yes.
Alright, so I worked it down to a 5%.
Yeah,
Alright, had nothing to do with the COLA, that was just a salary increase.
yes,
Alright, and then what I was recommending is that we go 1% COLA straight across the board for everybody, for COLA.
which would include, in your scenario, the police department as well, again, or?
As well as the fire department, and we're decreasing the fire department to basically 20%, instead of 39% for increase in hours.
You just wanna see an example of what it would look like, you're saying? If
I was just doing some numbers the other day, and Jason pointed out, with the COLA, it's basically about a 7,000 drop for each percent. Is that what you said?
Yeah, well that's what I see right there.
Yeah. So, taking it down to 1 makes a significant difference.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't be in favor of giving the police a 5% raise and then everyone else a 1%. I
I'm
don't think
sorry, you're talking COLA, right?
That's a raise.
Okay.
COLA's a raise.
Mm-hmm.
COLA is a raise.
whatever, you're saying I wouldn't give the police 5%, and so we're talking about, you're giving the fire department a raise of basically 20% in hours. And so let's just
Well,
talk
20% increase of hours
of hours.
allotment for them to be able to work, but not
It's not
an
20%
increase
increase of,
in their
in
pay
money.
rate.
That's correct,
Yeah, alright,
okay. Yeah, so, but that's still extra money for them.
mhm,
That
If they
still
work the
increases,
hours.
that still increases the budget,
It budgets for more hours, is
Right.
all it does.
yeah, but it's still an increase in the budget,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
I'm looking at trying to cut the budget down as much as we can, and then we limit the COLA to everybody to 1%.
Except the PD.
Huh?
You're saying except the PD.
No. the
He's
PD
saying give the 5% to the PD and then also give them the 1% COLA. Cause the 5% is a pay increase
is a pay increase.
and then the 1% is the COLA on
Is the
top
COLA.
of that.
So we took 2.5% off of the 7.5 that they originally put in for.
Of the request.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you look at pay increase as that and COLA as something separate. I look at all of it as pay increase, and that's how
Play
I
the
see
game
it.
whichever way you want.
Well, so
It's one of those things that once the numbers get figured out by Joe, you'll see what the differences are.
yeah, but I'm just saying, on principle, I would be opposed to giving a 5% pay increase to the PD, and everyone in here gets a 1% pay increase. Just on principle, because it just is like, I don't know. It's nice to have as much harmony as we can within all the different departments.
So you're saying that all the other departments are not getting a pay increase?
Correct.
Only the police department, only these folks here with stipends that we did, these few here on the last page. But DPW is not asking for pay increase, all they're asking for is the COLA as an increase.
Okay,
Town officers are only getting a COLA adjustment.
all right, I never took those scenarios into consideration.
yeah. Because there's been those are the two ways that the pay rates have been addressed in the past, is people request a specific increase for themselves or people in their department.
Mhm.
And we try to play that out, but then other people won't ask like for any adjustment at that time, or maybe we don't need to for whatever department that is, but then they're still eligible for the COLA increase, like that cost of living increase, so that they get some type of increase in pay rate.
Yeah, so what they've done every other year is if you're getting a pay increase, you're not getting the COLA.
Yeah, I know, we played that
Yeah.
game last year, and I see them as two distinct differences. And a pay, everybody should get basically the same COLA amount,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And that's simply because that's a cost of living increase, and then you give somebody a pay raise, based on their performance. That we should be doing performance reviews, we should be taking the people that work the hardest and do the best, more attention, and they should be rewarded a bit more for it. Not everybody works at the same level.
That's true. That's handled at the department head level, because they have a low end and a high range for like pay rates for the different positions, and then they'll make a recommendation for somebody to be hired at a certain rate. And that's why we got into that conversation a month or two ago about not just paying up to, just because it's budgeted doesn't mean you just pay right up to that limit. Like you stay within that range, so you have some type of movement to be able to make those adjustments throughout the year.
Correct. So
Yeah.
that that part.
So-
Right now, I'm just looking at, you know, trying to keep the pay raises down as much as we can, and the COLA just be, the COLA is going to be a certain percentage for each person, or each, position, well, it should be for everybody, it should be the same amount. If somebody is making more money, then the COLA is going to be slightly higher. Not in
Yeah.
percentage, but just in monetary value.
Yeah, and that's where we have them choices.
But there's some departments where we've had to make bigger adjustments just to get with the times of what pay rates are, so that we're close to in the market and to be able to hire people, which this would take care of a lot of that, I would think, you know, depending on how the year goes for the country, but we're getting pretty close right now to being right at that market value and not having that thing hang over our head that we just don't pay enough.
As well as retaining people that are already here, and hopefully they won't wanna go somewhere else that pays a lot more money, you know what I
And-
mean?
Yeah,
At that point, you also have the ability to try to keep somebody if they're exceptional, and you can offer them, if they're leaving because it's more money, you have something to play with. You know, it's not only money that people work for, it's also for the environment. And you know, a lot of people in the many years that I've been working at the corporate level is they leave because of bad managers. And that's the one thing that we need to ensure that we don't have.
mm-hmm.
And that's going to take extra money in order to maintain that. You know, a good manager doesn't come cheap.
Correct. Yeah,
You know, so
and that's where a lot of our
you need-
department head or manager pay rates, we've had to make larger adjustments to make sure that we can retain and hire and retain
That's right.
those people.
Right.
Yep.
And it's one of those that when you go get, like I brought this up with the Mindy thing and you know, going with the new payroll, that's gonna cost us more to get somebody who's familiar with the BSNA. And we've all admitted that, and that's something that we'll have to deal with when it happens.
Mm.
So Lou, you said you wanted to see 1% across the board
For
with the
co-
fire increase in hours of 20% and the fire stipend increase at 10%.
Fire stipending, I never said anything about the stipend, I think that was Sean.
Okay. Because
I was just
if you look
trying
at
to
COLA scenario 3 and 4, and then if you look at the 2% line on scenario 3 or 4, if you were to go 1% less than that, or bring it down to just a 1% COLA increase, it would be about $10,000 less than what the 2% is. If you were just wanting to see what it looked like, because then Joe wouldn't have to spend an hour getting all typed out and printed, and
Mm-hmm.
so it'd be about $10,000 less than what that 2% is showing for scenario 3 and 4. I think I'd be pretty upset if I got a 1% increase.
You'd say,
And someone
what's this bag of peanuts?
I mean, for some people, it would be pretty. I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking about the COLA increase. Okay, I mean, the federal number for the COLA increase right now is what, 2.3%?
Well, that's what it was in October, you said.
Excuse me?
You said that's what it was in October?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I But no one else is getting a wage increase, that's what we're talking about.
Well, the last page shows the wage increases,
Other
right
than,
here, is the
those.
approved ones.
but and those are not getting COLA, that page 4. None of the,
I have a problem with that, because everybody should get COLA, period.
They're getting more than what the COLA would be.
What do you mean by that?
Those adjustments are higher than what the COLA impact would have been on their salaries or their stipends.
Then you reduce the stipend. Or I guess COLA is something that should be a fixed number that everybody gets, all right, irrespective of what their salaries are. Now, if somebody is exceptional, then of course they're going to make more money, or they should get a good performance review.
I think it's probably too late in the year for the budget cycle to do performance reviews.
I'm sorry,
I think it'd be too late in the budget cycle to do performance reviews for this year.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we can't.
Yeah, so we'll probably just figure that out.
Into the coming year.
Yeah,
And
we'll probably
have
have to figure
it
out
as
next
a-
year, but for now, I guess there's,
Have it as a new program.
yeah. I think we talked about that other years too with Dennis.
I mean, we should reward good performance.
I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but so if we were at like 2.5% COLA, which is average,
Okay.
and we can get fire to make at least like a 4% reduction in hours, which shouldn't be too bad, you know, like earth shattering. So they'll bring it down to 35% increase in hours, and the fire stipends to 12.5% increase.
I personally think your numbers are too high, but
What's that?
I personally think your numbers are too high.
Okay. Well, we're also talking different languages about how the whole structure could or should be. So this, like, I'm just working within this structure of what we have in front of us.
That's fine.
So the 2.5% is what they're using for the Social Security benefits increase for 2024,
Correct.
and they predict that'll be the same in 2025. So the 2.5 is a pretty good number for COLA.
And then that would only impact employees that didn't get a wage adjustment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I make sure to
I
read it.
realize you're doing that, but I don't think that's right, or that's,
I feel fine that you don't think it's right. Like,
Well, the other way you can do it is then call it less of a wage adjustment, so that the COLA fits in to match. So it's all semantics in my mind. At the end of the day,
yeah,
chief
you're
wants
looking
so and so to be this much per year, and then how we arrive there is
so if you're gonna give a 2.5 COLA and the police are getting a 5% increase, you'd give them a 2.5% increase and a 2.5% COLA to make the 5%,
then I
right?
take the 5% and I take it down to 4 or 3.5.
But if you want everybody to get the same and you're not trying to impact the budget, it would be 2.5 and 2.5 to make them their 5, and then everybody across the board gets the 2.5 COLA,
Yep, and you know,
right?
I don't have it with me, I don't think. Let me check.
Oh, Don't break stuff. Alright, we're awake.
I guess I don't have it with me, I've got it in the other, oh, maybe I do, hold on.
And this isn't different than any way that we've done it for the last, since you've been on the board. It's been the same way each year.
Mhm. Well, you know, and that's why I'm thinking that it needs to be revamped.
Oh, what?
That's why I'm thinking that it needs to be revamped. No, I have it in my other folder, sorry. I've got, there's a lady chief, police chief over out of Greenland. And she has reached out to everybody in within the certain area of New Hampshire, and to find out what the wages are for all the officers and at what rank. I've got those numbers, and unfortunately I don't have them here, but I could send them out. I could just go ahead and send them in an email, and you can look at it and see how everybody compares in the local area. So it gives you Peterborough, Ringe,
For fire department? Or in
police,
general?
this is just police department.
Just police. I thought you said fire chief.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear. So these police salaries, that's the one thing that Mike has been, you know, pushing, that it's getting more difficult to hire police. And so you see what the wages are doing. And how they increase with increases in position, going from a patrolman to a senior patrolman to a sergeant or a lieutenant towards a prosecutor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, like all the different steps that he has within his department.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Which we just heard that we were pretty much in the right area. And
Pretty
that's
close.
yeah, we're getting very close to it. So there's just some benefit stuff that we're not offering. Still fiscally conservative compared to most communities, I would say. So we really weigh on that other aspect of, you know, people enjoying the community that they're working within too, and their managers. Like you had said before, there's more than just pay involved. But when we were off by $20,000 for an officer, you know, or even $10,000 a year, it does, you know, money is a big factor. But we're closing that gap, but trying to do so without making too big of a jump, I'd say.
Agreed, and we're still not getting, in fact, none of the departments here locally are getting people hired.
Yep. Yeah.
Because there are other parts of the state that offer a lot more money, substantially more.
So the scenario you just asked for, 2.5% COLA, 35% fire hours, 12.5% increase in fire stipends, and 5% for the police is up here right now. It's a 8.44% increase.
And that's going with what for COLAs for the rest?
2.5.
Oh, that's a blanket 2.5.
And that total budget turns out to be 300,000 more than a little more than 320,000, let's say, 318,000 increase in the budget.
Well, you get the delta number right there.
$283,000.
$283,000 increase in budget.
$250,000 more plus.
So I was gonna do a quick scenario of 3% COLA just to see what the difference is. 13.5. Okay, so now this reflects a 3% COLA here right now.
It's $3,000.
It's another $3,000.
Yeah.
So that still gets you back to the approximately 7,000 per percent.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 7 to 10 depending on the fire increased hours percentage.
And that's why I'm saying that you reduce the number of hours for the fire department. Reduce the number of hours of increase.
How many people live in town? 50,
5,400.
5,400?
Yeah.
So like $7,000 steps is just a little over $1 per person, per resident. We're talking,
Total, not even $1 per thousand. It's like $1.
yeah, no, we're talking like $1 per person, per household.
Right.
Right.
Like someone has 10 kids, or a family of 10. Or the 1% we're fighting, or not fighting, talking about is $1 per person per household. Ish, maybe $1.25.
Here's another way of looking at it, Luke. $286,000 increase. I pay roughly $6,500 a year.
Yeah.
How many of me needs to be paying to hit
Yeah.
this increase?
Yeah, how many households?
That's a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm saying just on the 1%. We're talking like 1% or 2% increase. It's like a little
Right.
over $1 a person.
But the whole
But
thing
the whole
is-
thing, yeah. So talking about the percentages isn't like the
I know, you gotta
talking
be
about that
careful.
1% thing isn't the big thing. It's the
The cup of coffee
It's
a
the whole
day
number.
is not a
Mhm.
legitimate argument because
yeah. No, I'm
The
talking
truth
just
is,
about like
you
per
know.
percent of
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
at the end of the day, your tax bill is whatever, $6,500 a year, and if the increase is
8.5.
fill in the blank,
Yeah.
it's gonna be that much.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but I find it really mind-boggling sometimes when I look at it. Like my portion of my contributing to this town sometimes goes towards
So,
a couple signs.
right.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Or one,
Anyways.
depending on what kind of sign it is.
It's true.
But and your whole tax bill isn't just the town budget either. It's the county, the municipal, the school, like
It's
all
true.
of that gets factored in. So it's not just like
Yeah.
ours is like the
Well, the school's having their budget review tomorrow.
tomorrow night.
Mhm.
Yep.
There's a
6
budget hearing.
o'clock at the high school.
But so yeah, all of these scenarios, I mean, they're all incremental, and it really is a nickel and dime kind of a thing
Yeah.
that we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it gets down to this point and it's already been shaved, cut, adjusted, and then it's still over 5% higher, you know.
But I am more in line with an across the board COLA. I hate to start building resentment between
Mhm.
departments.
Yep.
When I first came on here, there was like so much tension, and I don't think there's that kind of tension now. Obviously, I'm not here day to day, but from what I hear, there's
Yeah.
not the same kind of tension, and to start building up one department over another, I think is I'd be a little hesitant to do that.
A COLA should be something that everybody gets. And it should be the same amount for everybody. It's
In
a
a
cost of
perfect
living
in a
increase.
perfect world, in a perfect scenario,
It's
but
not-
you shouldn't make a large wage adjustment and then also apply the COLA to it on top of it, because then that total adjustment's even more. And I understand what you're saying, like I'd love to do that if all things were equal, but everything was, the reason that there's a lot
It's
of
true.
discord was that things were very much unequal and
Mhm.
not equitable between departments, and we're getting close to that balancing point now. Cause each department head knows what it takes in order to hire individuals for those different departments. And there were wage adjustments made last year, for DPW, that were greater than
That's true.
COLA.
And
So
same
then
with PD the
Mhm.
years previous to that.
Correct, like even
Yeah.
larger than the 5% that we're talking about now. So we're getting there to that equalization point, but we're just not quite there yet.
So it's justified.
I believe it's
this is the town
justified.
office's year to get the increase.
So
And then
I'm
even,
being snarky.
I think the town office did see some increases in the last 2 years, as I recall.
Yeah.
And that the other adjustment here is these right here, cemetery, P&R and pool.
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
And the cost of lifeguards is higher up than
yeah, so,
yeah, so at this point, like I don't bring anything to the table of, hey, can we get rid of this, like in a department, I don't know if you guys wanna take a look at that now, and like, did you have anything on the bubble?
no, but I would like to see the whole, Joe mentioned a few priority 3s and 2s that were hanging in there.
Okay, yeah,
I would like to see, because the more material things we can trim, it leaves more money for the workers,
yeah,
and that's just,
Mhm.
but they have to have tools too. We
Correct.
can't just have a
Right.
bunch of workers.
yeah.
Let me just jump right to the priority 3s first. Alright, so these were priority 3 items that we have not said no to yet. First one is some training for Peter. And I know we've spoken about this a couple of times. There were, a couple of courses. I'm gonna have to shrink this down. Okay, here we go. So there's these UNH offers these 6-hour courses, which seem to be pretty good. Primex offers a whole bunch of 1-hour courses, which are free. And then there was this ICMA, which offers pretty detailed, more expensive courses. So what we said, I think I don't think you were here, Sean. We said that the free courses are a bonus. That's good, and I fully support him spending an hour a day going through these courses. A free 1-hour course. Unfortunately, I think he needs more than that. I think an hour is not going to teach you how to manage people. It's a good overview, refreshing look at it, but you're not going to learn anything in an hour.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So then we look at this. ICMA. It's more expensive. Could go multiple days. 15 sessions for this local government one. I think it's a good idea to maybe not to do all of these, but effective supervisory practices.
Mm.
That's a
Mhm.
6 90-minute sessions. You're gonna get something out of that, and it's probably worth time to go through and maybe talk with Peter and say, what are you gonna get out of this? the 15 sessions for local government, maybe we push that out to next year if you decide it needs that.
I don't know if that would even apply to him, really.
It does talk about managing DPW stuff.
Oh, it does?
Yeah,
I
all
didn't really
these,
look into
I looked at these, because they offer a ton of courses. I went through and I said,
know.
these look really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of handpicked these, but I don't know Peter well enough to say, how's he gonna do with a 15 session course? Is he gonna be motivated enough to do it?
And can he take 15 days out of his job?
So they're online courses,
Oh,
and they're self-paced, so you could do one on a Friday
Oh.
morning
okay.
on the 15 sessions. But I think that's something to consider, and maybe we say that that instead of all the total of $12, we say we're not going to support the majority of these, but we're going to budget for one course with ICMA, or we're going to budget for a couple of these UNH courses, or maybe we just say so the UNH courses right now is the total of that too. Is $7,000, which is quite a bit of training for basically one person. So
And then the desirables with another 4.
yeah, yep. Total is $18,000
Training.
training of one person, basically one person.
Well, that includes, doesn't that include 11 grand for CDLs? 2 CDLs?
Oh yeah, it does. I'm sorry, you are right. Absolutely, it
But
does.
that can also be broken out over a couple of years, 3 years or so.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be all in one semester.
Right. The CDL was so the 7,500 is only the mandatory training on flagging chainsaws and the CDL one CDL
One
course.
CDL, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And then the second CDL was recommended.
Yep. Okay. So, right, do we need to do the second CDL? We could say no on that one now.
Right now, is it in the master budget
It is in the master budget. Yep.
for 2 CDLs?
2 CDLs. Yep.
And you said there are some 3s in there?
Yep. So this is in here now. For Peter's training, it's the priority 3. The priority 2 training is in here as well. I'm sorry for jumping back and forth.
Okay, so the 1s and 2s are in the budget as we speak.
Definitely.
So,
And in this case, the priority 3s are as well.
oh,
Yeah, indiscriminately just say no 3s.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let me get back to that one. So I'm sorry. This is
So
crazy.
you looked
Okay.
into these ICMA classes and you were pretty impressed with them. Is that what
Me?
Yeah.
If it were my business and I was paying for it, I would ask them to do the Primex courses on their own time and get as much as you can out of it, but I wouldn't expect any return on it. The UNH courses were okay. The 6-hour course, the stepping up to supervisor, foundation, 6 hours, that's pretty good. They're not really like hands-on stuff. The ICMA would seem more interactive. I like that. I mean, now granted, I didn't take the course, and all I did was read the brochure, but I looked at that and said, you're talking 15 sessions. That gives you homework. You take a course, you get homework, you go back, you prepare for the next one. You get more out of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see what some of the titles of those courses are for the ICMA?
Yeah.
International City County Management Association, okay. Local government, online certificate program. Yeah, that number, line 17, something that, any one of the supervisors or managers should, take.
Right, that would apply to pretty much everybody,
Right.
all the managers anyway. What I was thinking is right now, these are our priority threes. We pick, I would say, this one here, effective supervisory practice training, 6 90-minute sessions, I'd make that priority 1. And then I would leave the others as priority 3, and I would probably drop those out. For this year, let's get them to attend this one course from ICMA. Let's ask him to also attend all the free Primex ones. And then, Debbie, maybe you want to think about whether he takes one of the UNH courses as well.
Well, which one goes towards that Rhodes Scholar
None of those.
program?
None of those.
Those are all just managerial.
These ones are.
Yeah, the Rhodes Scholar one is all Rhodes stuff, and I don't know if that's through UNH.
I thought Peter said it was.
That's UNH.
Yeah, I think it is.
That would be one.
I don't
that-
think those that are there. I mean, I think Joe was just focusing on being a manager and being a supervisor and
Yeah.
learning how to deal with all
That's
of
all my
that.
focus was.
The Rhodes thing has a little bit of that, so maybe one or
There's
two of
many
those
steps.
are, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
and it's roads.
Yep.
Like
ROADS.
yeah. Yep.
Not the
We're not
one.
setting
Not
them
right.
down. Wherever that is.
So yeah. And that's like 2 or 3 years worth of
Yeah.
stuff.
But it would be
I was
something
looking
that
into that.
I think it
at
would be
one
good
point.
for him.
I 100% agree, yeah.
Like to take off the supervisory skills from there. Do like Joe said. Have that one ICMA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that place is.
It's International Cities and County Management Association.
It's not part of the World Economic Forum, is it?
Who knows? Could be. You never know.
Well, I would want to know before I.
So
spend
there's a
the money on
$200
it.
fee to join that, which we haven't in the past.
Before you get a class.
Yeah.
And then there's another $900 for the class.
So they are also doing a management thing in Gettysburg, which I would really love to go to. I was
Who is
actually,
ICMA?
I was talking to Peter about it too. I was going to send another referral. I have 2 people that have done it, and they said it's absolutely phenomenal because it's teaching you. So it's actually in Gettysburg, and you go to the whatever, but it's all it's very in depth as far as like.
It's strategy and tactical training.
Thank you.
So it's a real life scenario where they go over the battle, and they talk about the strategy of the battle and how that relates to your business, and specifically government business. And it's a step-by-step thing, so it helps you to relate your problems with the problems on the battlefield. And I read that, and I was very
It's
impressed.
amazed.
I
That one's $16.50 or $16.95. But Peter was in my office when I was looking at it. I'm like, we should definitely do this. They're doing it in April and in June.
$1,700. Does that include room and board and
No,
No.
or airfare,
air? What? Airfare?
or
It's not
or
that bad.
mileage. You want to pay mileage? Be cheaper to pay for airfare.
And I think you need to look into that a little bit further, but that is something I would strongly recommend, is picking, I mean, I would say probably you and a board member, as opposed to Peter. I don't think Peter would get enough out of it at his stage.
Yeah.
But, Mike would,
Yeah.
Chief would definitely, he would get something out of it. Maybe even Ben, maybe, if Ben was gonna, if we knew this was gonna be Ben's career, long-term career, then it might be good for someone like him as well. But at this point, I would say it's great for the town administrator and for a board member to do that. And maybe that's just research and plan for it next year. But I read through that because that was awesome.
I know.
That looked definitely applicable and helpful.
Yeah.
And taking the strategy, having a strategy discussion, and then the tactical discussions, that's really important. Good lesson learned.
Yeah.
War school.
So you love history. You can make it a vacation week. That's what I was thinking. I'll make it a vacation for the first part of the week. I'll pay for my own hotel and driving so the town doesn't have to pay for it,
Now we're talking.
right? And then it's the 3 days of class in Gettysburg. Just saying.
So why don't I just step back in? Let's just walk
Sorry.
through this if we could. So we're going to say that one CDL is mandatory, the other is recommended. We could knock $5,500 off the budget right now by pushing that second one into next year.
In Peter's opinion,
Well, it's not a 3. It's not a nice to have. He said I'd like to have both, but
and I believe one is already spoken for.
Yeah, and
So
actually,
that would mean any new
actually
hire.
2. No, not even new. It's if there's 2 people down there that could definitely, he said, would be able to take advantage of that
Hmm.
because he's fully staffed.
Yeah. Take one of them off. Take all of the ICMUs off.
so I would leave one of those on there.
And
Well, you know
you'd
what?
like to see that 895 stay
Yeah.
on there.
I agree with that. I think that would be helpful for him.
Yeah, I'm sure he can function with one CDL. And the thing is the little bit I looked into it, employees can reach out to, I can't remember the name of the company, but there's a company that gives grants
Mm-hmm.
to get CDLs.
Yeah.
And they can get it for really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
A lot cheaper than we pay. Like a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I think you have to pay up front and get reimbursed.
Yeah.
But I had sent Peter something last year about getting reimbursed
Oh, is that
for
where
a
I-
grant, but I don't know
that
if
might be
he ever
where I
sent
saw
it
it.
in. Yeah.
Well, actually, my son did it. And I may have got it from someone in here, but, and yeah, so I think take one of them off.
So one CDL off.
Mhm. Do Joe's recommended here, see what it does.
Okay, I want to go down here. I'm going to make the $200 ICMA fee is going to be a 2, and then the supervisory practice training 6 90-minute sessions. I want to make that a 2.
I think I agree with
That
that.
fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be helpful for him.
Primex ones we don't care about, they're free. So that puts 6 hour-and-a-half-minute training sessions on Peter's plate for this year. Do we think that he's gonna get that done this year? Do you think that he would do another one like that?
I think start with one. He likes to be out in the field.
Mm.
And then we make all these UNH courses just desirable and plan for it next year, or do we want to leave a few $100 in it in case he's able to do it?
You're saying put him at 3? Or
Yeah, that's what he's saying. put
Yeah.
them all
So
at 3.
right now they're 2. I can make everything 3 except for maybe leave
Other
stepping
ones
up the
that,
supervisor.
what's that?
The stepping up the supervisor course.
Yeah, that is critical. I think because it's a change, right? You know, moving from
Yeah. So he would take the ICMA course.
Can I see the Primex list completely, please?
The Primex ones.
Yeah. Would you go
It's
to
up here, I'm
front?
sorry. Into ICMA.
Those are all
Primex.
free.
Right there.
Yep.
Okay, so garage fire safety, ethics and code of conduct. That'd be a good one.
So Lou, these
Yeah,
are free,
we can
so we don't
take
need to
them all.
budget.
Yeah.
Right. We don't need to budget for them though, so I said,
Employees guide, identify and respond to aggressive human behavior. 2x4 handles that. Legal aspects of interviewing and hiring. That's smart. Managing conflict. Yeah. Prevent employment discrimination for managers. Yeah.
I don't know, all the Primex stuff's pretty good, but it's all very just surfacey. Yeah,
60 minutes is not a lot of time.
no.
No, it's a lunch hour.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not worthwhile.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it's not gonna turn somebody around.
Right.
True.
Yeah, so I'd definitely like to leave that stepping up the supervisor from UNH.
So then why don't we make all these other three except for that one? And the rest of the threes. Okay.
Peter Goey got him started on that Road Scholar course.
I
Did
feel
he?
like
He did a few,
He did,
Yeah.
one or two
yeah, he did,
classes in
Yeah.
it, and I don't know where it's at now.
he said he learned a lot
Hmm.
from it.
But it was just the start of it.
Right.
Is all it was.
Alright, bear with me a minute. Why is that filtered?
change threes to no. So
There's my two there. It's really hard to do live.
Mm.
Okay. So 7,500's ones, yep. 2 became 1404. And then 3 became 9140. Okay, and we're gonna not approve the third. We approve 1 and 2. Okay,
Okay.
road signs. We had included a bunch of money for road signs. Where would they be?
Supplies. Maybe.
Nope. Signs,
Oh, there you go.
hidden.
Right under signs.
Yep. Okay, so we included $6,000 mandatory for a number of signs, and then we included a desirable for just more updates. So the $6,000 gets us close to the minimum, but it'd be good to have another couple $1,000s for more road signs. But it's a 3. It'd be nice to have, so we could drop that and not really. We still have $6,000 to spend on signs.
Question?
Yep.
Does this account for signs that are getting stolen, or this is just wear and tear on signs?
So predominantly for signs that are being stolen, but he has a few signs on roads that just need to be replaced or installed that aren't there today.
Okay.
Not sure whether they were ever there or whether they were stolen. But the biggest expense is because they're stolen. And we spent $6,000 in 2024.
And he feels like 6,000 would be sufficient for 2025 too.
Yeah. He wasn't reluctant to make that a priority 3.
Okay, yeah. Let's take that off.
All right. 4th of July celebration, $1,000 for food and games, food and function hall rental, another $1,500. These were priority 3s. I don't
Say-
have.
This was on patriotic purposes. They wanted.
Yeah.
These are new lines. They weren't on ever. So these are shooting the things they asked for. But
I think, did they have anything else for those, like for the 4th of July celebration that were 1s and 2s, or?
Yeah, I can find out. Wrong button.
What?
I know. That hurt me too. Actually, I can stay. All right, so 4th of July, $3,000. Oops. For fireworks. That was a priority 2. Food and games, priority 3. And then 1 was for flags. No, sorry.
the other 2 was for bagpipe band for Memorial Day.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. All right, so that's what we're looking at.
So that the food and games aspect kind of sounds like supporting the effort and the volunteers that would take to probably put it on, like from their aspect. Is that?
I thought that was
No, it was kind of just for maybe people who came down for a 4th of July party at the town field, is what it sounded
Oh,
like.
to have some food.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have like, they weren't really sure
Food
what it
and
would
games.
cost or how many people would show up, but they were like, oh, I mean, you know, $1,000 in hot dogs and hamburgers, you know, would do something. But yeah, they weren't really sure. This hasn't been done. This is something they wanted to do, which is why it's in the 3 line. But
Yeah.
yeah,
They
so
do
it sounded like it would be for the townspeople, not for the volunteers,
Yeah.
Okay.
because they weren't sure if it was going to be 10 people or 2 or 40. They didn't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The 3,000 then is some base money
Fireworks.
And
to get this thing.
And they had
started.
gotten a quote from someone for a show. I don't remember how many minute show it was,
For
but
fireworks.
for a fireworks show for $3,000, and they wouldn't do it per se on the 4th of July night. Maybe they'd do like a weekend after or something, in case everyone already has somewhere to go. But
Hmm.
that's why these were 3s, because it hasn't been done in the past, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's something that they felt they wanted to try and do.
Now the flags, was there a priority 3 on the flags? Wasn't there something where they wanted double the amount of flags to have on hand?
I thought we had worked it down to a smaller percent.
Did
Because
we?
they were asking for a 100% increase, they wanted to have a backup flag for every flag in town. I thought we had lowered it to a lower percent of an increase.
Did they? And that's what this number includes? It's 67.95.
I think we loaded like 20% over the minimum we needed. I don't remember now though.
Did we do that or did they?
Didn't we bounce the idea off of them?
Yeah, I think so. Because they were saying, I think they had said that they were recommended to have 100% extra. That they weren't even planning on doing that.
But someone told them to?
Someone recommended it. I thought they said the selectmen recommended
There
it.
was one, it was a couple of years ago that there were a bunch of extra flags purchased, and then they went into storage because they had too many flags, and there was quite a bit of loss over.
Yeah, and I did ask them about that, and they said that they have containers that are rodent-proof containers, and that they have, that there was extra flags around that they actually used.
They did that this past year.
Yeah.
They went through all
This year.
the flags that were.
So this is a department that's been around for a long time, but it has a new head of the department and someone else on the board as well. So they're trying to restructure it to what would work best for them to run it.
Okay.
And the other thing that they did do is
They're also buying flags across.
they're buying them, which they before it was uncategorized in the DPW budget
Yeah,
and just came out of supplies.
yeah. So now they're buying for more than just the flags they were providing before. They're buying for the whole town.
Yeah, all
Which
the
is where it should
telephone
be.
poles.
Yes. So all the flags are now in this one budget, patriotic purposes, instead of
And they're
across
out of the
DPW.
Yeah.
You know, now they're all in one big pile.
Okay.
So that's why they want to have extras too, because maybe there was extras in the highway department kicking. They want to have them all in one spot.
Right.
But
Not someone's house, preferably.
That'd be cool.
yeah,
And I believe the 4th of July was something, you know, it's great that they want to do it, so I don't have a problem with leaving or even moving personally. I don't know how you guys feel, like the 1,000 up to a priority 2, so that there's full support of that
Yeah.
push.
I agree. I think
Okay, that
it
was
would be
easy.
nice for our town to have a 4th of July
Mm-hmm.
celebration. We haven't had one in years.
Veterans Day brunch, $1,500.
And that one was, I went down there and it seems
Everyone
like it
loved
was
that.
well received.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was, I talked to, I don't know, was it Sean after or somebody? No, I think it was one of the veterans, and he said, he said, I seen veterans there that have never turned out for any public.
Anything. Yep.
They
Yeah.
won't come out for
Yep.
Memorial Day, but they came to that one.
Yep.
And so
I
I think
love that.
So it's a
what these guys have done, we should support them, I think.
I agree.
it sounds like probably a 1,
Make that a 1. Okay, good.
not even on the bubble. Yeah.
Although I don't even know if they spent that because people donated.
that's what they were saying as well.
Yeah.
They weren't really sure if it would all even be spent, but that was just in case no one donated for some reason.
But that was mostly.
And they do want to try to do
donated.
fundraising for some of this stuff.
Right.
So maybe they won't even spend their whole budget.
But that's a different thing. Have they talked to you about writing a warrant article, or they haven't?
I feel like Sean did long ago, but I haven't heard from him
Yeah, 'cause I
recently.
think they were telling me they want to do some. I almost thought they said they want to do 2 warrant articles or something.
Well,
Yes.
what
maybe
they
it was a
wanted was a
two-part.
place to be able to put money if they they get donations.
Right.
That's all they
Right.
wanted.
Yeah.
So we'd have to set it up just like the
Heritage.
Heritage.
If it could be, because Heritage is some RSA thing.
I mean, I sent him stuff, but he never confirmed.
Yeah.
So-
Probably if it was in the fall, the chairman is quite busy in
Yeah,
the fall.
I know.
because-
All right. Warrant article.
Because you don't have much to do, right?
No, I got nothing to do. I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs.
So
Oh, good.
in the town offices, we have last year's budget, 1,070, we have 1125 in priority 1, 295 in priority 2, and then there's a number of things for another $500, and those are land use law conference, hard road to travel, and fundamentals of local welfare
So where are those?
and
Under-
HMA workshops.
Yeah, but under what budget?
Under yours.
BOS?
So, I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, I know that, planning board and board of assessors both have their own, education budgets. So, code enforcement wouldn't go under BOS, that would go under,
Actually, that would.
code enforcement would go under, building.
Oh yeah, I got the note here.
Now, look at that,
Look at that. Yep.
yeah.
But isn't building under the BOS?
Building is its own,
Oh.
Yeah, actually, welfare is its own as well.
welfare is its own.
But structurally, yeah. Code
Not
enforcement.
budgetarily.
Yeah.
Just structurally.
Yeah.
Budgetarily it is. Moderator, you already had that, so I would really like to add that $16.50 to go to the ICMA conference in Gettysburg.
I don't know if I would approve it this year.
I think it'd be good to look at for next year.
Okay,
I agree, it would be awesome. That might be a hard sell at first.
yeah,
No, I know it's.
Which one?
I'm sure it's. You
Well,
know,
it's
highly
not even on
valuable
there.
and in depth and
it's like $1,600.
Yeah.
you know 1,700 turns into 5 and 10,000 real quick with travel and
What's the name of it?
It's a leadership training, class, well, whatever, conference for 3 days in Gettysburg.
Oh, that one that you were talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
but like I said, I would pay for hotel and, so it would just
Yeah,
be
make that into a vacation.
That's what I said, and then town wouldn't pay for my travel or hotel, I'll pay for it myself.
Use planning board.
That's planning board, yeah.
Hard road to travel. Then I just go. I'll just delete that one. I don't remember what that was about.
Yeah, that one's roads. Like Peter should take that too.
Yeah, the manual for that one is actually pretty good also.
Yeah, yeah, we have the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a minute.
Sure. So the conferences are important, I feel. Yeah, so, and everybody else has their own education budget, this is really like me and or accounting. Cause accounting falls under BOS.
Okay. Bless you.
Bless you.
The spring breakfast, fall breakfast, summer barbecue, $300. Oh, actually, that's already been approved. Oh no, I'm sorry. Just keep that in the budget.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's all the priority 3s then. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this easily. I'm going to go back to the original.
Look at
Alright, so we started. It's 264, so we took another $13,000 out. So we're at 7.89%. Where we started out earlier, we were at 8.27%. So it was a change in the right direction. And I'm just gonna take a quick glance and see if there's something else that we need to talk about. I think I highlighted everything in. We still don't have the new assessing contract prices yet, but I know we haven't picked an assessor yet, so.
well, nobody's applying for it, so we might be stuck with same company we have now. So whatever we had in the budget last year for that,
Carry those right over.
I would carry, maybe even,
Has any more thought ever been given to straightening out the maps?
no.
Mm.
Well, back in the day when I asked for it, it was $145 grand.
I'm
Now
sure
it's over
twice as much.
$250.
Yeah.
Yep,
So we
And the
reduced.
sky hasn't fallen without him.
it's true.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So and the sky hasn't fallen
You're
without.
always so
without
positive,
them.
Sean. It would make things easier, but
Have they marked the 40 trees that they're going to,
in Old Wilton,
yeah,
I don't know, I never go up Old Wilton. Have you looked?
I don't think
I
they
don't
would have
think they-
marked them yet because
No.
they haven't put it out for
Bid.
pricing.
Yeah.
I think before they put it out for people to give bids,
Mm.
they'll probably be ribboned.
I could have a good guess and say they'll be across the street from wherever the poles are, the power lines are.
Oh, I don't know. So this, I think this is the bottom line for last year. Is this in current? Have you looked?
Yeah, so
What did I
there's,
saw like 26% of the budget remaining.
yeah, but
Is that-
there's, yeah, right around there, but there's more bills that, she's doing two. Jenny and I were gonna work on it tomorrow, but she wants to do it, so she's gonna do it from home, but, so there's still 2024 bills hanging out there. They're probably till the end of January
Oh, yeah.
that we'll still have to apply to that, but,
So it's not quite that much.
yeah. And I don't know how much they are or what they are, so,
So that would be a lot.
26% left.
Yeah.
Why did that just go up?
up to what?
That was a 2 when it went to 1.
That should be a one.
It should be a
Moderator?
1, yeah. Trying to figure out why.
Only 5,000 for
Why did these fill in?
There's cough drops in
Thank you.
there. Want one?
Oh, that'd be great, thank you.
Anybody else need a cough drop?
I'm gonna back these all up.
I'll take one, please.
You're gonna what? Pack it all up?
Yeah, I made a number of changes and I'm gonna take them off.
Oh. I thought you meant you were leaving. I'm like, wait, what was that last number?
everything else aligned.
Remember what increase we had for last year?
I did break
I
something.
think last year was really low, but then the prior year was like 12.5%.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was, if you averaged it 2 years, I think it was like in between 14 and 15% for those 2 years combined.
Anybody else need a water? I brought a couple. I don't know if anybody needs one.
Tom, good?
No,
3 coffee cups.
no water.
Thank you.
You gotta back up.
No, thank you.
Got an extra one?
Do they taste good?
Thank
Do you like the candy ones?
I don't know. Wild cherry.
You gonna jump out of my hand?
It's right on your coat. Change the water.
I think I have one right here.
Oh. Alright, I'll take them all. The small cups. Water.
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Kinda cool to see this whole thing working though. I don't think it's a futile exercise, you know, with all the time spent with the like department heads and
Oh no.
them
definitely.
understanding their budgets better and not just spending it out like at the end of the year. I think it's worked out where people can feel that they have adequate budgets given not ideal conditions. Like if they have to utilize more money, it's there. But if they don't need to, they're not spending it,
Yeah.
and we're able to, you know, take it off the bill the next year. So
Well, the other thing that's gonna bother this is the fact that everybody's property tax went up probably $200. And they're just gonna see this as another jump.
Well, I feel like if people understood how the budget is, I mean, how the tax rate is, you know, how the state we don't set the tax rate, the state does. And what goes into that, like the town budget was like $2.
Yeah.
So if you look at your tax bill,
But their tax
the
bill's still went up.
portion, oh yeah, but I
Still
mean,
went up
it's
a couple
not
$100.
just because of,
Yeah.
I mean, we still have to
but
run
with
a
added
town.
inventory, like more homes
Yeah,
in town,
there's more time,
helps spread
yeah,
out that
Yeah.
spread the bill.
exactly.
That was something I was wondering what the increase in valuation is that we've seen, like in the community. Yeah, like how many more homes were
Yeah.
added to the
Or you
stock.
They
I know,
haven't,
I don't even
they
know.
haven't run that number yet?
No, I think I'll probably
it's-
see it.
I think it's probably on the MS1.
Yeah,
I didn't really even look at it.
yeah, this year over last year.
Right.
But then it's not going to be a true showing because we had the revaluation on top of it.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Great, that's right.
Yeah, so we only went up.
But it's still not gonna be a real showing, cause we're gonna have another, 40 houses
Yeah.
being built?
We had $100,000 increase last year.
Yeah.
Only. How many of my
Low.
property bills is that, Luke?
And then the year before that was much more.
Well, last year we gave, what was it, 8.3% COLA?
No, that was the year before, I think. Last year we did 3.
I thought it was
Yeah.
7% the year before that.
Was it? Went from 2.8 million to 3.3 million.
So it's $500,000.
That was the year before.
Yeah, this is like 12 something percent, and then like 1.5 or 2% the year after. I got to read that sign. every day for the last year. Up 15% over 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't even give us the 1.5% increase like
I know.
that we did this year. Oh boy.
So now if we go up another 7.5%, you're gonna see up 20%.
Over 3 years.
What do you think of that?
$14,300 for DPW clothing.
Well, what was the number again?
14,000 something, he said. DPW clothing.
That's where if we had a better grasp on some of those more advanced numbers of knowing, so say we added $20 million more home valuations in the community, what's that impact, like how does that all work out?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
So even with this, 8 or 8.5% increase, the tax bill could be less,
Right.
Yep.
depending on, how much is added for home
School.
inventory. Well, and then, you get Goliath up the hill, but
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, you're not gonna even know what the impact is wholly until next October.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cause that's when the tax rate's set, so.
it is possible to get to that point of softly projecting, so
Yeah.
as we're going through these,
What the
it'll help
towns,
us be able to have those more advanced discussions of where could we allocate more money towards, because we know
Yeah.
that we're gonna have this much more revenue at this base
right,
rate.
right,
So, like the whole conversation just flips, knowing that you're gonna have $500,000 more dollars to allot in a budget cycle
Right.
because of the prior year's building,
yeah.
so,
So keep subdividing, keep building.
well, to a point, and then it pushes everything up, cause then you have to go off wells and,
Well, and then, I mean,
you?
you need more police.
with more density,
Like technically, we're supposed to have 24 hour.
another tightrope to walk.
Yeah.
I think people move here because we are a town that doesn't need 24-hour police.
But once you hit a certain population, you're supposed to.
Well, there's recommendations. There's recommendations from what I understand.
For how many officers per 1,000 or whatever. But I don't think.
So for that,
One officer per
Population.
500.
Huh?
One officer per 500 is the population.
Anyways,
So for
where
that-
are we at here?
So without any COLA at all, I'm just gonna delete this, cause no COLA, 39%. Actually,
How did we cut money in?
well,
It was 263.
we were 8.27% above, and now we're 8.16% above. So we're good. We did what we cut made a big difference. So
This is no COLA.
no COLA, 39% hours, 15% fire stipends, and 7.5% police.
That's what's right here.
So,
So if we did 2.5,
like you had.
COLA, 35, 12.5, and 5.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna let me just copy this. $2.5% COLA.
35% fire hours.
Huh.
It was 39,
Yeah, it's 35 now.
so 35, and then 12 and a half.
That's already 12 and a half. Oh, come on. my ability to move the damn thing. There we go. Nope, that's not it. 12.5. There we go. And then 5 for the police. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so that's where. .06%.
Alright.
Let me just,
Now, what's your thoughts on the 5% at the PD?
He was requesting 7.5, and I don't wanna create a scenario where we lose too much ground in that area. So he felt like those salaries needed larger adjustments. And like for the conversation of PD in general, being that it's January, I know last year he took half an officer out, I believe, right?
Because he figured that one wasn't going to get hired for the first 6 months.
Yeah. So it's almost that same, we're in the same spot of taking half
You
off.
know, the day, what's coming here is, and we saw a little bit of it, and with the town clerk, and we've heard a little bit with Debbie. Social media has altered what we have to work with, because in essence, we have unions forming, and we have it in the police field, we have it in the town administrator field, we saw it in the town clerk, probably coming with DPW, where people are, like Lou said, this police chief puts out the word, what's everybody paying? So there's this big thing going on where they're joining together, so we've seen increases in the PD above everyone else's for years, and it's because there's that's what the labor force is doing. Now, you said last week, at some point, the towns have to say, you know what, I know everybody's worth way more than they're getting paid, but I'm sorry, I mean, there's a limit. Everybody's always worth. Who takes a job and says, my job is the easiest job in the world,
And I'm
and
overpaid.
I'm fully appreciated and I'm overpaid? Nobody does. So this is, I think, what we're facing. And where do we, or do we? Do we just say, you guys are the boss? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, and I've been saying that too. It's like it's a tightrope. Like how
There
much
is.
how much can you retain your employees, keep them happy, so they don't go somewhere else because everybody else. But you're right. I mean, we have the email thread of for the town administrators and who's making what. I have a whole spreadsheet of who's making what the populations are in every town. You know. So I
how
mean,
do we navigate it? Yeah.
how do you? But how much can you give to the employees to keep them, make them happy, keep them happy, versus how much is the public willing to pay?
Well, part of it goes back to,
You know, it's a tightrope.
we have two definitions for COLA. Both of you see it as an increase in pay. And that's the same thing as giving them a more money to hire them or more money to get them going. COLA was actually put in place to make up for inflation.
You know the
Increase.
real,
To
do you
give
know the
Congress
real
a raise.
reason why it was put in place? It was because there was an amendment put in the Constitution that the Congress cannot give itself a raise. And
Correct.
COLA was invented,
Mhm.
so they said, this is not a raise, this is a cost of living increase.
That's right.
So it wasn't for the Social Security people, it was for the politicians in Washington.
But the COLA is there for the actual cost of living, and that is based on prices of gasoline, food, and there's a number of other things. So somebody who's got a certain amount of buying power at one point, let's say a single woman with 4 children, and she's watching the price of eggs go up from 99 cents a dozen to $4 a dozen. All right, COLA is meant to help offset that difference. It's not meant to be part of a raise. It's meant to just offset what's going on in the real world and make their life still affordable somewhat. A raise is something that is given by a corporation or management that induces somebody to stay there because it depends on the quality of work that they put out. Obviously, if you get a raise, you're doing your job better than somebody else probably would have.
So would you be happy if we just called it baseline increase
Yeah,
and then defined it? So get rid of COLA, baseline increase. We don't do COLA adjustments at all. We'll do a baseline annual increase which helps offset the cost of living increase.
so it's still,
Yeah.
no matter what you call it, it's still called.
That's what I'm getting, like it's just, and
And
that's what
COLA's a
some of
number
these
that the
are,
government
like all
puts-
the other ones are trying to get it to the point where being able to retain or fortify those departments or those positions. So if someone's getting something that's over what that baseline increase would be, you don't put that baseline increase on top of the adjustment that they're already getting. Which is what you're talking about doing, you know, because I get it, like it's like,
No, the baseline increase would be what a company finds that the person is worth. And they see that as, they have a performance review, and it's compared to other people, and some people will get more money, during that performance review than other people, simply because they put out more. Cost of living increase, COLA, is a government number to help offset inflation.
So how does this relate to what we're faced? Like what I was just saying, we're faced with this new balancing act.
Yeah,
that
but you
wasn't
were
before.
saying that, well, COLA is a raise,
Oh,
and you said that before probably
Mhm.
2 or 3 times.
it is.
And it's not.
I stand by it.
Yeah, but it's not. It's an offset to inflation.
It's
And
still
there
What
have
difference
been-
does that
there
make?
have
When
been
we're
years-
looking at a budget, we're looking at bottom line numbers. You call it whatever you want. You want to call it a baseline increase, a COLA.
That seems to
Call
be
it
the
whatever you
government
want, it's an
number.
increase.
Yeah, but that seems to be the government number.
Has it ever
or
gone
government
down?
Price.
Has a
I
COLA
don't-
adjustment ever gone down?
Yes.
It has?
Yeah. It
Into
was.
negative numbers.
It was not. It was 8.3 1 year, and this year it's down to 2.
No, I'm saying, has it ever gone into
Okay.
negative number territories for employees?
We're taking your social security money away
They're
from you
not-
because it's so cheap to live now.
Has it ever? And the answer is no. So therefore,
But have
it's
the-
an
but
increase
have the
in
price-
pay.
But have the prices gone down?
I don't see
or-
what it has to do with anything. Why we have to spend all this time discussing this, because it's all an increase.
But that's the whole part. There are 2 different rates of the increase, or 2 different sources of the increase, or 2 different meanings to each of those increases.
And we've already discussed that.
No, because you went ahead and put it into one number.
Well, anyways, I don't think we're getting anywhere with this.
Nope.
But we're left with these bottom line numbers. And we can call the increase whatever we want.
So, the 35 is the percent fire hour increase, 15 is the fire stipend increase, 5 is the police increase, and 2.5% is the
Whatever you
the
want,
COLA,
baseline,
yeah.
The other
baseline
increase.
adjustment
Yeah.
slash COLA slash
the other adjustment.
increase in salary.
He's gonna get you with that thing.
Trying to take my laptop away.
Oh, is he pulling the wire?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't put it up that high, okay.
Yeah, I thought it
I
was
think, well,
longer.
at least I didn't think I moved my foot that much.
So at 2.5% on $50,000, what would that person be seeing annually? Like, it'd be like $1,200 or so,
Yeah.
$1,250 or, and then 3% would be.
Well, like the 3%, if you were making $20 an hour, 3%, and I only remember this from last year from certain people, so it would be $20.60 per hour.
Right, but I mean, at the end of the year, you're gonna make X amount more. That's, your salary ends up being this much more. You can look at it both ways.
Right.
That's 60 cents difference times 2,080.
So I'm at 2.5%. Seems like, are you weighing out the 3%
I'm
more?
trying to figure that out, like, what that means to the guy making, or girl making $50,000 a year. What are them two, that 0.5% would be,
$250 more a year.
that's not nothing to the person receiving it.
What's that?
I said that's not nothing to the person receiving it.
No.
And what it does to the bottom line is roughly
Minimal.
$3,000. Depending on the fire department hours. Right? Bottom
Well,
line,
those are all the same.
what's that?
When you calculated the 2.5, 3, and 3.5, it was with 35% increase in the
I see,
hours.
I see what
Oh,
you're
okay.
saying.
And that's coming down from 39.
Yeah.
So the 3% would add from the 2.5.
$3,000.
I can understand 3% as well.
Yeah.
So, you, in your job, you always want to grow your pay faster than the cost of living. So you don't just get the job and then kind of just stay with the cost of living forever. You really want to grow,
That used to be
so you
the
see a
case.
benefit.
Nowadays, there's very few people keeping up with it.
Mm.
What's that?
There's very few people whose wages are keeping up with the cost of living.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a reality. It just ran away from us. I'd lean to the 3. If we're doing 2.5, I'd just lean to the 3. I know 2.5 is a nice thing because you can just say, hey, anything's federal.
Alright.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I could see 3% as well.
And then save some money on paper and give the money back. Right?
Right?
What'd you say?
I said save some money on paper
Yeah. Yeah.
and salt and gravel and everything else and give the money back
Yeah. Yeah.
at the end of the year.
Well, what have we been doing with the police department?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
It's been going back.
it's been going
Yeah.
back.
Now that's
And that's been,
highly dependent
how
on
long?
the select board.
How long has that been going on?
5 years.
Okay.
with every department.
But they could get a board that doesn't give any of it back.
That's true.
And even if we made a policy as a board, we're giving this much back, the next board could say,
No, we're not.
I make a policy that we don't give any back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll,
Yeah.
that'll be their fight to be had with the
It will
community
be.
and passing budgets, so.
Right.
Yeah,
Somebody gonna make
So,
a motion for that?
it's
or-
not a, it's kind of a cowboy way of budgeting. Like,
Yeah,
we hope we don't spend it all, and whatever we don't spend, we're gonna give back minus the 10, 11%.
it's responsible, I don't know,
I think
yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
common sense. So when I came into it, everybody was told to spend up to their budget, like you have it, you better use it, or you're gonna lose it.
Right,
You know, and then so it was a double loss. So if they didn't use the money, then the money would just go into that fund and not it just sit there. So the community wouldn't get money back. Department heads would lose the money. Like everybody looked at it as loss, but now it's a total win scenario because
Right.
everybody's getting what they are looking for, and then the community gets the change back at
yep.
the end of the year. So
And like before, back in the day, like what you were saying, when you say you're losing it, because the next year you gotta put in the same amount you put in this year, and you didn't use it, so they take that away from you. You know, if you needed $500 for paper in 2021 and you only spent $250, the following year you ask for the 500 again, they say nope, you get $250 because you'd only used $250 the year before.
What
Like, you
would
can't-
that police raise be at 3%? Or do we
Yeah,
wanna say
I can
that's
do that in a
untouched?
second.
well, it was
From
that
each
the-
according to his ability,
is
to
that at
each
the seven-
according to his needs, Sean.
Is that at the 7.5 or at
That's
the
Karl
5%?
Marx.
well, and that's where we have to like pick that point of where this is like still a reactionary thing that we're doing here, but it'd be better to project it out and know what marks we'd like to be at for next year during this conversation and what we're gonna address next year. You know, what like costs are coming up, but we're getting there. Each year, one piece is added.
Luke, if you had a nameplate in front of you, which we don't have today,
Sorry.
Luke,
Yep.
what would you do? You're on an advisory committee. What's your advice to us?
Are you saying on raise police compared to the rest of the town? Or the whole
Well,
thing?
Yeah, like the whole personnel thing. What would you do if you were faced with that?
I think
Which
if someone's
COLA would
getting,
you
if
get?
someone asks for a raise, then they shouldn't also get a COLA.
So then which COLA would you go with for the people that don't ask for a raise? What would you give the people in the office here and DPW workers and pool workers and
I think 3%.
That's a huge difference.
Is that 35, 15, Joe, or
35.15 or 35.25.
It's 35.15. The only difference between this one and this one is the police got a 3%, got basically COLA, 3% raise and a 3% COLA. So I dropped the police from 5 down to 3.
Wow. 13 grand.
And that difference there comes down to 11,000.
yeah,
Or
7,000? There's that $7,000 difference number. Just keeps coming back.
It's 13.
Yeah.
266 to 273, right? Isn't that 13?
no, that's
What the heck? I can't do
It's
that.
273 minus 266.
Yeah, never mind. Don't listen to me.
that's an 8% increase. Even?
Right.
Boy, it'd be nice to get down
That's
to that
attractive.
7.89.
That was zero COLA. I don't think you're gonna make anybody happy there.
We're here to try and make property tax bill receiver happy and
Employees. Yep.
employees. And we have full knowledge that we are going to have upset people
Somebody.
on both sides.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yep.
The question is to what degree? Right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're not gonna wanna see this.
So I think leaving it at the 5.
Oh, I know why. I'm like,
You
so
said
that's a
it's
really big chip step for the, office salaries.
Yeah.
It's because it's all
Because we
combined.
combine them all into one account, yeah.
And keeping that top of mind for next year in these discussions again, you know. Because right now, even for fire, my expectations are that they're not gonna come close to those hours, and hopefully, you know, it's all service derived, but not anticipating any increases or requests next year from that department.
Yeah, and hopefully, like we discussed last time, people move here from the city and they're like, their expectations are quite high for all the departments, and hopefully as people have been here for a little while, they ease off on that
Yeah,
and lower the pressure.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember when some people, we had an influx of people from Massachusetts and they wanted more streetlights. Yeah.
There are towns in Massachusetts that fill up the barrel of sand at the end of your driveway so you can sand your driveway for you.
Yeah.
I would wish there was less streetlights.
Same.
Yeah.
The one on the end of my road makes it harder to see at nighttime because you can't see if there's a car coming up that way because the light's blinding you.
Right.
Oh.
It's horrible. My neighbors and I are talking about coming to the town to try to get it removed. And if not, then
You just did.
Pew pew.
well, maybe a selectmen meeting, maybe have us all sign something depending on who it affects.
Maybe.
But I know people that pull out of there, and yeah,
What
I
if
hope we
the
have
what
less.
if the angle is adjusted? Would that help or no?
Well, I don't even know what it's there for, anyways. Kids aren't
Oh.
getting on the bus in the dark.
Oh.
Kids don't meet there for the bus, anyways.
I don't know.
But I don't really know why it's even there.
8%
we could bring the power
increase.
down, we save some money, give more of a percent increase in COLA, and get rid of all the streetlights. Would that be something you could do?
They're all LEDs now. They don't cost that much anymore.
yeah,
It
it
probably
costs
still costs something.
$1,000 to run a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Who are
That's
they
not
servicing?
much.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a warrant article on that one.
On your light?
Everybody's lights.
Get rid of all the
all the
streetlights.
streetlights.
All of them.
They're at every intersection, right?
I don't know. We
Alright.
only have like 100 and something in town.
So
Maybe
I
200
don't know.
in the whole town.
this is where
We
we're at
sell
Alright,
it.
here we
right
go.
now.
Can we sell it? It's not really a matter of, in my mind, it's not really a matter of selling it so much as
Justify
let's
it.
see what the people, what they want.
Yeah.
It-
Because
So what-
this reflects
What was it there?
stronger fire department, like a healthier, you know, service aspect from the fire department. More money in Parks and Rec in the pool, and a stable employee pool, hopefully for 2025.
And then
I know there's some other things that were added and addressed too, you know,
Yeah.
changing, giving an admin down to the DPW
Yep.
so that you can be the working foreman that you'd like to be, or manager. I think it all makes sense.
And if we ended up defaulting, then, well,
Then nobody gets anything.
Maybe just make do,
then
yeah.
we make do.
And really, if people are considering default, I wish they'd actually look at the warrant article expenditures and not just go yes down that list, maybe not do the other 250,000 for the roads, but and see what the impact is to that over 5 years, you know,
Yeah.
which we'll start losing ground on that too. everything's pretty base level. There's nothing, not a lot of extras, and any extras that there are is training, but that's all things that are valuable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I believe in it. And I'm encouraged where we're at with this year's budget. Yeah. I think the department heads have put together, a solid budget. We have an idea where they're looking to go with some things next year as well.
So how can we get what we decided tonight onto a summary sheet for presenting?
Well, I'll go into to BSNA, and then you can still do that, like the printed out categories. Actually, how's it gonna work? Cause there's no data from last year in the new system, right?
Mhm.
Oh, there is?
Mhm.
So we'll still have that comparison.
Mhm.
Oh, he's still playing with them.
What do you do? Scenario
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he's giving a 0.5% more COLA.
There you go.
Dropping
7.9%.
the increase to, so we took
10% off the
25%
fire
hours.
10% in stipend increases. Police get 3.5% stipend, and everybody else gets 3.5%
COLA
COLA. Yep.
or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Everyone gets an increase,
Mhm.
and it drops it another.
I mean,
It's roughly.
it's literally dropping at what? $66.
Yeah.
Just so you can be right under that 8%.
Yeah, it really doesn't drop it much at all, does it?
No,
Nope.
$60.
But
Oh, you know
fire
why? Because they
department-
added.
Yeah,
Because
the
they
fire
went from
department.
3% in
And
police
PD.
department to 3.5%
3.5.
police department.
They're
That's right.
taking it.
That's why I brought it back up again.
They're absorbing it.
Yeah, but didn't we settle in on 5% for the police?
Yeah, so I think, are we back here right now? 35, 15, 5, and 3?
And so the difference there was 7,000. 9,000. 7,000.
Is that what we want to present?
What's that?
What he's got highlighted?
But you also, there's a difference between the fire department.
Yeah.
there.
35, 15, 5, and 3.
Versus 25, 10, 3.5, and 3.5.
Even with that last option Joe put up there, still moving ahead.
Moving ahead.
Yeah, for the fire department.
Yeah.
Their original ask was 39 and what?
They had 15% for stipends.
Oh, they had 15?
Yeah, they're asking for 39% increase in hours and a 15% increase in all stipends.
What happens if you take
But
that?
and what that represents, 39, it sounds like big numbers, and this is what's difficult about getting into percentages and wanting to knock like big percentages off. We're talking about $21,000 of total increase, I think it was.
Yep, $16,000 for 39% increase in hours,
Yeah.
and 4.6 thousand for a 15% increase in stipends.
which I know that those stipend rates were low, and the ones that were impacted was the admin stipend, I believe was increased the most percentage wise. I can't remember if the chief got an increase or not, but
That's a big number, yeah.
Yeah.
all just really low stuff, you know, cause I could focus right in on the rec department and wanna, you know, take away 100% increase on one aspect and all those things, but it's just low dollar denominations and departments that we're looking to fortify, you know. So.
Yep.
That's why when he, you know, doubled down and said that this is what I believe it's gonna take to run the department, and when I looked at the total amount of dollars, it didn't seem worth, you know, hitting it too hard on them compared to the amount of service that we get.
Yeah. And the hours
Who
and
are
the
you talking
stipend
about?
difference.
The fire department,
The fire department.
The hours and the stipend difference don't even add up to the
Then what about-
7.5 police either.
What about
Still
bringing
less than that.
yeah,
the police department back up to 5?
That's where he's got it highlighted, or where his arrow's pointing at. That's the one that I believe is
Yeah, I was thinking
coalescing out of
in
all of
terms
this.
25, I mean, you're looking at, I was looking at the N, and you had the fire department down to 25.
You wanna see this right here with 5% for the police department?
Yeah. Instead of 3.5, yeah.
but what's the point to all of this? Are we trying to get below 8%? Like, I haven't heard anybody's strategy except for having Joe do like a lot of different tables and things, but
I'm
because
just
really
looking
when
at
it gets
the-
down to
I'm
it,
just
we're
looking to see
making
what
all
the
these little
numbers are.
Well,
adjustments.
that's why
that
I
are,
said
like,
at the beginning, we had a
fractions.
$60,000 spread.
yeah,
That's what we have,
yeah,
from giving nothing to going full bore. Yeah. And we're somewhere in that middle.
So that
Walking
went
it
up,
So I wanna take a look at something,
6,000,
Seems to be the number.
just on a 6th grade.
actually, 5,000.
We're looking, now we've got it narrowed down to a range of within-
$6,000.
Yeah, somewhere in there, so
yeah,
I think we're pretty much have it done,
yeah.
right?
Yep. No, I feel like we're right there. Because right now it's just splitting hairs.
We
and,
are, and wasting time.
Yep. Yeah.
Mhm. I already got my little motion symbol. I'm waiting for it.
You have emotions.
I'm just waiting for somebody to make a motion.
So I was thinking,
Oh boy.
I know. So fire wanted to increase their salaries,
Their hours.
hours and stipends, right? And that's the difference right there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
13,309. But we're also adding $44,000 to their expense budget as well. So this year here, they're taking money out of their expense budget to put it into salaries so that they still break even, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this coming year, we're giving them $13,000 more in salary, We're also giving them $44,000 in equipment. So we're really giving them $57,000 more budget this year,
Yeah, total.
total.
And how much did they over?
So, and they said that they're gonna be able to give a couple $1,000s back from this year's budget, total. So they're not over budget, but they definitely went without some things in order to offset the higher labor cost.
Yeah, cause they had more calls.
So in that, 44,000 represents some of the things that they weren't able to address this year, that they're gonna look to address next year.
Yep.
On top of the things that also need to be addressed next year. So that's why we get this like multiplication, but that's kinda getting ahead of the whole curve. You need to do that, and each department's had that scenario except for the fire department.
Yeah.
They haven't had this scenario yet, each other one has.
Okay. I'll go back to that.
You guys okay if I run to the bathroom real quick? Like drank so much tea and coffee and
It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think you're allowed to have a bathroom break right now.
No.
Yeah.
I'd rather
90
you
seconds.
I think we should all take a bathroom break.
What do we got left to discuss? What's Joe pulling on us now?
So I can clean up the model a bit, pull together these tables, and email them out to you again for review.
I think
Sounds like you're leaning toward
K.
scenario here, K. Yep.
That's what I'm looking at. I think that one there is what? 273 compared to 277, 270, 264.
Right.
It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I don't like J. So K is an improvement. I'm just wondering if there's a way that we can drop $4,000 somewhere else,
4, why 4?
because that moves us from K to L.
Yeah, but L is more.
Right, that gives us 3.5% COLA if we move to L. I'm wondering if we can drop 4K somewhere else in the budget to get us there.
Selectmen's salaries.
Perfect.
Boom.
Done.
Gone.
Power for streetlights.
There you go.
And any future planning for streetlight bulb replacements.
It'd be nice if we had an electricity line.
Be nice if we had a solar farm.
If what, and the town started making money?
Can't have
Heavens
solar
to Betsy.
farms. Solar farms, they're
It'd be nice to see an updated map of this. Okay, this revised 2023, but see how many big lots are open to put a solar farm. Maybe at the
Yes.
dump, there's a ton of space down there and it's sunlight all day
So
long.
they wanted to do that, but there's no three-phase power up there.
Yeah, I know.
And it would cost
costs
$1 million to get three-phase power up there.
Plus, then you have to buy solar panels made in China, and they're toxic waste, and they
Yeah,
get
but
a
can we just put it on top of the landfill cap?
Yeah,
and
but
it's
then
all
you need
full
a
of
new
toxic
cap
waste
once the
anyways, right?
hailstorm hits them, and
Yeah.
Can't,
and then I saw that in Texas.
I say you get the
Yeah.
solar flower.
Solar flower.
Sean's been
This,
peeing for a
I
while.
wanted I wanted
He
this
said
since
9
I,
seconds.
huh?
Is that what he said?
What I said?
I know, and there's not even a quorum here, so what am I doing here?
I know, right? Alright.
Well,
Take 5.
5-minute
said,
break.
asked
Take
if she
that.
should bring dinner down. I said no, but maybe I should have said yes.
I
5-minute
know.
break.
5-minute break.
Everyone else is breaking.
Stop talking to Ron for-
Too late. I'm out of here. We ran out of patience.
Ron? Yeah, me.
Taking a break anyways. I think Debbie was getting on edge.
I'd say I wonder if there's a way of pulling $4,000 out of the expense budget to move us from K to L. 3% COLA to 3.5% COLA.
Yeah. So does that seem like that's the goal, is to get under 8%?
Oh, I don't know.
But I think we can kind of wrap this up for tonight and come back to it
Yeah,
next week.
Yep. We made great progress today.
You feel pretty good?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, really, I think 8%. I was surprised how high it was. Really, 8% growth was higher than I expected. But you know, I went through the expenses again. They're justified well.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
I think it's reasonable. You know, I think the 3% COLA is better than 2.5%. I think that's good. I like 3.5% better. But I agree, 8% is a good target. You know, but that would push us to get, you know, another $4,000 down, leaving 3% COLA. We could drop it $4,000. That'd get us about 8%.
Yeah.
I'll go through that in detail and see if I can put what happens when we clean up a few things, and maybe we can find that.
Yeah.
Well, grand certainly isn't a lot of money when it comes to budgeting.
What's that?
4,000 is not a lot of money when it comes to budgeting.
No.
You know,
No, it's not.
of a almost $4 million budget, it's not a big number at all.
So what did you settle in on?
Still sitting on column K.
That's 273.
Yeah, because that's what our decisions to this point have been.
So basically, if we go to column M, the police department will end up with 6% total between.
No, column M says they get a total of 3%.
We're not compounding the COLA on top of their increase. This is not happening.
Because I see 3 and 3%.
So it's 35% increase in hours for the fire department, 15% increase in
The fire
stipend
department.
fire department,
Yep.
3% increase for the police department, and then there's a 3% increase for COLA. But the 3% for the fire department is in place of COLA. That's why I just set them alike. So you either get a percentage increase or you get COLA. You don't get both.
And really, the bigger number, because we could probably pull, 40 or 50,000 out with benefits and everything for that half officer.
Yeah.
And then this whole conversation just changes, because then we're down in like the mid sevens.
I mean, you could do that, absolutely, because
Yeah.
he's got 2 holes right now that we're fully budgeting for. If we slip one officer by 6 months, that saves a lot of money.
Yeah.
Is that
So-
something you want me to model?
I think it's worthwhile, because
Do
it's
that.
it's actually a substantial amount of money that isn't going to be expended in reality.
Call what?
Call it. What are you gonna do?
Because we automatically assume a family plan, right? For
Yeah.
those all those
A new-
undesignated roles
Right.
are always highest tier. Like everything's
Yeah.
just assumed highest tier. What I was talking to Joe about was taking out that half a year for one officer, because the reality is it's not going to happen.
January now, he's not going to get anybody till
It was the same
March
discussion we were
anyway.
having last year, with him, and
That's a
could be
big,
like $40,000-$50,000,
Yeah.
with the benefits. and the 6 months off, instead of playing with this $3,000 back and forth
Yeah.
Right,
and being on the bubble of 8%, this will drop us right down,
yeah,
you know, to the mid sevens.
I like it.
that's a great idea.
And I would assume the chief would agree
Mm-hmm.
that it's not likely.
Because he wasn't put into a bad scenario this year with that
Right.
happening last year.
Yeah,
There's the PD liaison from the Finance Advisory Committee. Who is that? Is that you?
Bruce.
Bruce's?
oh, that's nice.
Just
6 points.
roughly salary alone, give or take, it's gonna drop us down to about 7% by slipping one officer by
Half a year.
6 months.
Yeah. That makes, and it's a real,
Yeah,
It's a real life
it
scenario.
can be done. You know,
Yes.
like it's not gonna hurt anything.
low risk, yep.
Yeah. So, that's kinda where I'm at, right there. That was the only spot in the budget that could
Yeah.
be altered.
Yeah.
I like it.
And that alteration really doesn't affect anybody.
Nope.
Yeah.
Correct.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Look at that.
Let's run with it.
Yep, good suggestion.
Yeah.
And I'll go for that also.
That's all three.
Who's making the motion?
Good?
So, what's the
What were you
motion?
thinking?
Oh, all three of them agreed on it.
Oh, yeah.
That looks good.
So the
Budget of
fire department gets 39, 35. The stipend people get 15. Police department gets 5, and 3%. Does the fire department and the stipend also get the 3%?
No.
So the fire department hourly wages would go up 3%. The stipends would only go up to 15%.
They wouldn't go up 18.
Correct.
They would go up
The stipends
15.
won't go up
because they
past the
already are.
requested amount because it's over
Okay,
what
so
the,
that 15 is the number that they're working on right now anyway, right?
yeah,
Same thing with the PD. It wouldn't be 8%. It would be 3%.
So
5%.
who gets the 3%?
everybody that wasn't impacted by a wage adjustment.
Okay.
Alright. We good for tonight on
I
this?
think we are. I'd like to see it on a paper. A summary sheet
I'll write it up.
for our presentation. When is that? Next Tuesday?
No, the following the 21st.
Oh.
Yeah. So
But it has to be posted on the 14th.
next Monday we'll have the warrant to review, right?
Yep.
So we'll have the warrant along with the budget.
This final number.
Correct.
So the proposed budget is going to be 3,629,040.
Well, I don't think that
That's not right.
got changed.
Oh, it didn't.
I don't know. Did it, Joe? I think you just put the.
So that number will change because I will drop $40,000 from it.
Oh.
Yeah. So all he did was the percentage.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
So
So that'll be 3.5 from 80.
yeah.
Yeah.
Something in there.
Yep.
3580.
3590.
90 actually.
All right.
Awesome.
So
Cool.
we'll look for this
Hopefully.
cleaned up.
Yep.
For next
Yeah.
week and.
And can you, like last year when you get those final numbers in, send me the spreadsheet to enter into BSNA?
Yeah. We can do that. I gotta look at that format again.
Yeah.
I'll look it up, or I sent it to you last year, I'll do the same thing.
Okay.
So next Monday is gonna be our last opportunity to address any other things, so if you identify other areas for us to look at, like ahead
Yep.
of Monday,
Yep, excellent.
cause we're gonna have to be pretty solid on, you know,
Yep.
not that we won't have the first couple hours to kind of go over it, you know, the next Tuesday, but
Yeah.
I'd like to not change too much, you know, before the public hearing.
Yeah.
Cause you wanna give everybody an equal shot at, you know, reviewing all the information.
Yep.
And then walking into the meeting and discussing it with us.
Yep.
And be talking the same language.
Cool.
Excellent.
Thank you, Joe.
Yay.
Thanks, Luke.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
And thanks to Bruce too.
And Bruce, I was gonna say, yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna shut down, we're good, right?
I
Yep.
think we are.
Okay.
Alright, so now we have whole new business. Do you have anything, Debbie, for us? Nope. Jason?
Wait.
Luke?
Oh, we did.
Did you have anything? For roundtable, like anything to discuss together as a group?
Yeah, but I'd rather keep it down to within the core group.
So a non-public?
Yes, no.
Okay.
I have,
You don't have to run off. We're not gonna go into non-public right away, that'll be at the end.
No, we do that at the end, yeah.
Just,
Oh, okay, I was like,
He's like, he wants to go.
I better get out of here then.
I'm done with the budget. I wanna go.
yeah, scary stuff.
that was
Bye.
Well, what's on
got you
the,
like a trout.
what's on the agenda?
This is just general discussion.
So we had the road committee meeting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I ended up 20 minutes late, so I didn't get the first half of it, but the gist of the meeting was, in the last 3 years, them warrant articles have been drained right to the wire. And so this coming year, they wanna slow it down a little bit. We have a lot of roads that need top coating still. And I think the outlook for this year is just taking on one more road for reconstruction, which would be Old Wilton. There was still some discussion left how to approach Old Wilton Road. Wasn't finalized.
Alright.
Is that right, Debbie?
Yeah, originally they were gonna try to add money to each of the warrant articles, not a ton, but a little bit. And then they decided not to add anything. In Old Wilton, they're gonna put the cutting down the 40 trees out for bid. I brought my road committee notes.
Yeah.
And then, there's a cross culvert and a catch basin that they wanna replace, and then they would reclaim and put a 2-inch base on. And that would be about 195.
That was a discussion of whether or not they were gonna reclaim. And they were gonna have a few
Right.
more eyes on it
Yeah,
before they made a decision on
Right.
that.
That's
Okay.
like Old Wilton?
yeah,
And then Old Beaver was on there
yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
As,
Top coat.
as a road that's gonna get resurfaced, everyone agreed it doesn't need a reclaiming. So it's like a shim and,
So look at the
Shim and
shim
overlay.
and top coat.
Yeah, for Old
Perfect.
Beaver, and then top coat for Wilson Hill and Philmont.
And then Old Beaver will get the betterment tax.
Yeah,
But
so,
we can't count on it, so we have to
Yeah.
assume we're fronting all the money and the town's gonna get reimbursed.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that was was the gist of the road committee meeting.
Yep.
It did come up again that we need to have a policy on class 6 roads.
Mm.
For people who live on class 6 roads, the selectmen need to have a better guideline as to what maintenance means. Cause we tell them you're maintaining it,
But then you
There's
can't
issues.
do this and you can't do that. Yeah.
well, yeah, the state has restrictions.
Yeah.
And then like what we ran into on Old Ringe was, paving down, and then it all comes to like, well, who's in charge of this road?
Yeah.
So even though it's a class 6 and the residents have to maintain it, the state says in order for anybody to do the maintenance, they have to get permission from the selectmen.
Yeah.
It's all
So
kind of cloudy, but
need a
I
policy.
think there was a request put out a few meetings back, right? That we would express our concerns to our lawyers. Has anything been funneled that way, or
No.
no? That should be done.
So you're referring to non-private class 6 roads?
Class
There's
6.
class 6 is class 6 no matter what. And
So
the
like our
town-
roads are class 6, but they're private roads.
they're not class 6.
They're either class 6 or
they're
private.
private.
It's one or the other.
Alright, so we meet the class 6 standards, but we don't meet the class 5, so then
Right.
it follows class 6. Okay.
So class 6, the town maintains a right of way through that.
So the residents maintain the road, but in order to do any maintenance, they're supposed to, according to the state, they're supposed to have the permission of the selectmen to do anything.
But that one does need to be,
Addressed.
Yeah.
and then I don't know what the way forward with it is, but we do need to address that one. It may come at us.
So do you wanna look at it
I know
in
we have
a little
budget.
bit more in depth on the 28th of January?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there that it's something that's
Yeah.
could come at it. It could come at us fast.
Okay,
So the sooner we do.
got that.
Yeah. And now
Thank you, Joe.
December's over. Did we get any
Have a
Good
info
night. Thanks.
on
Good
getting
night, thank
money?
you.
No.
We
no,
gotta get.
I hope her surgery went okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard back, so.
If we get an interest-bearing thing, we could make enough money in interest to cover
Offset some of this stuff.
another
I know.
1% COLA.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much all I had.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else received it, but there's some grant money available for going to clean diesel. And I don't know if, since we're getting these diesel generators, if we want to utilize that money to take advantage of switching them over.
Yeah, Peter mentioned something about that, cause
Yeah.
I think it was Ringe DPW told him they got a truck almost fully paid for.
Yeah, that was a different one. This is just
Oh.
for clean diesel. Oh, well, I guess maybe the truck, they did get a new truck for going clean diesel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was something there, but I don't know if it's still available or not.
Well,
But that's a good point.
it's up there.
Yeah. I don't know if the generators would
Yeah, I thought it was just
qualify as
vehicles.
clean diesel. Yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was just vehicles, but.
All right.
Well, I'm talking about the generators that we got. You know, that's not necessarily clean diesel,
Yeah.
but I don't know that, you know, whether clean diesel is considered the biofuel where they use, you know, oil from McDonald's that,
Yeah.
you know, to keep it clean or how it goes. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, might be worthwhile to take a look at.
That's all I got.
Alright. Luke?
He wanted to talk about a street light at the end of Timber Top.
Yeah, it's back.
Yeah. Take a drive by and see how bright it is.
Well, if you come from Hubbard Pond side,
Yeah,
it's pretty sharp Y.
yeah,
So you get to the Y without like going way out, then turning in so you can see up. You're looking like this, but the light glares into the windows of your vehicle. It's hard to see if there's headlights coming when there's a light right above glaring into your
yeah.
line of sight.
Is this over at Timber Top?
Timber Top Hubbard Pond intersection.
Oh, that intersection.
Yeah, but coming from Hubbard Pond way, where you have the stop sign
Right.
coming onto that road.
Yep.
Where if there wasn't a light and you come to the intersection, you'd clearly be able to see if there's headlights coming from up the hill.
Towards the end of the hill.
Yeah.
Now, there was a letter from, the guy who owns that,
Yeah.
the property in the, at the intersection,
Yes.
about doing a school bus turnaround
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, we had talked about that because it was
Like,
school
not
bus
even
has to
just
make
for a school bus, but just to make it so that
well
you don't have to.
easier. Yeah, for
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, because he was saying there's no, he can't use that little slice obviously.
Yeah,
And yeah, the school bus when it comes from Timber Top down to turn onto Hubbard Pond Road or vice versa, it's a sharp. I can't
You
even.
have to go wide and,
Well, you have to make a point turn.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
he's-
even
he's
with
gotta
my
back it
pickup
up.
truck, which is a 4-door 8-foot bed, I can't make that.
Well, the
Turn.
town technically has a right of way from 25 feet from the center of the road.
Yeah, but there's big boulders, and then also that
Radius.
street lamp pole is right there as well. In that little
that could
vicinity
be a
on the corner.
win-win.
So it's like, yeah, if you were to just wipe that out and put pavement, then not put the pole back up.
yeah.
People could see all over the place and turn all over. Because yeah, it's pretty tough in my limousine too.
I would put
Turn
that on
the
for
top off of Howard Pond if I'm going to.
Oh, is that where we're going with this?
It's all about the limo.
For everybody on my road with long vehicles that happens to go up
Yeah.
Timber Top,
Yeah.
it's a pain. And the school bus, which is obviously the main reason, but
Should take a look at the 28th. We kind of have like a little road theme
Okay.
going, and we'll bring up that aspect of reconfiguring that intersection.
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
Because when I read it, it
come up
seemed
with the
like
next plan to spend money.
Yeah, I mean, the school bus would be able to get if it's mapped out properly, should be able to do a complete U-turn going right through the woods.
yeah, without having to stop and do points. Because if you
Right.
go off that one edge, it's straight down into that first house in Howard Pond.
Right.
It's a steep hill.
Yeah,
It's kind of an interesting turn.
So
Obviously,
that
drivers are
property
trained.
owner has already said. Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah. He'd donate the
He would
land
donate
to the town. Yeah.
A little sliver of land to
Mm-hmm.
improve the intersection.
Yep.
So then it would end up more like over on Perry Road
Yes,
Can
and
we-
Collins Road. That used to be similar.
that was a tougher
Yeah.
one.
Can we get him to come to the meeting, should we? To talk about that?
I've never
I didn't see
heard
any,
this situation
I haven't
until
either.
now.
Oh,
Me
really?
either, no.
He's my across the street neighbor. Come from the same
Look at
cloth.
that email.
Well, you could. Yeah.
I mean, like what he's proposing, you know?
It would be good.
Yeah.
If he's not camera shy. $28.
Okay. So can you get in touch with him, Luke, and
Yeah.
ask him to go?
Yeah.
On the 28th? Cool.
So I'll let Peter know that.
Oh.
What's that?
Yeah. Oh, Debbie forwarded this to us.
First,
I did?
first
Yep.
choice.
When?
I didn't see it.
Honestly.
October 15th.
From-
Originally, they had sent it to Jen over in building,
Oh,
and then she forwarded it to you, and then
Oh.
you forwarded it to us.
wow. That's
But
good.
a lot's gone on in a couple months, so
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was October.
This is probably unrelated, but something that's property for sale in town currently. I think last Tuesday or Wednesday night it was listed. It's this piece right here. And the access would be from Old Ringe Road up Old Peterborough Road,
Oh, I know that lot, yep,
which now it's 127 acres, not 140. But nobody can access it publicly without going through someone else's land.
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
Whereas these roads were public roads.
100 years ago.
1800s.
Yeah, but then they were class 6 roads as
Old-
of more recently. But then now they've turned into private roads.
Oh, my
Old Ringe Road, so it was Old Peterborough Road and Old Ringe Road were both discontinued in the 1800s. Then there was a lawsuit against the town in 1982 or 84, and the the court ruled that the town had to relay out Old Ringe Road, but Old Peterborough Road remains discontinued.
Discontinued, yeah.
So Old Ringe Road is the
Yeah, because the way the listing shows it, that you can just go drive up and access it from Old Ringe on Old Peterborough.
yeah.
And obviously, the people that live there, have these lines of cars coming up to look at the cheap land up what isn't.
Right.
It's a private road now, basically.
It's not a private
it's
road,
a
it's
discontinued
nothing.
road.
It's yeah,
Yeah.
It's not even.
which is not the
even a
town's
public
fault.
trail.
It's the listing agent's fault
Yeah,
for not
listing
putting that in.
agent.
Mm-hmm.
But because
Yeah.
I went bobbing up there, I was like, sweet.
Yeah. Right.
But luckily, I knew the neighbors who it was next
Yeah.
to, and they explained nicely. But then, as I was there, 3 other vehicles come bombing up from another town, and they want to go look at the land.
Right.
But yeah, it's not the town's problem; it's the listing agent's problem. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
it is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The listing agent apparently didn't know or doesn't
Because a lot of maps say Old Peterborough Road.
Yeah, I don't know how that gets straightened
Well,
out.
because
but-
it's a discontinued road,
oh yeah,
but
and like it makes sense why
You
that's why
can't-
it's $2,000 an acre.
yeah,
But-
because you can't access it and you can't build on a discontinued road, and you
Yeah.
can't subdivide on a discontinued road.
Yeah,
There we are.
I don't know how the maps get updated so that people are.
We don't know either.
Yeah, I
That'd
don't
be
know.
like
That's why I was saying it's probably unrelated or not.
like
something that we
GPS
have.
directions or something.
I
Is that
know,
what you're talking
yeah.
about?
Yeah, or even just the listing agent listed it as you would go up Old Ringe and then go. But it didn't
Yeah.
say.
So you can, because Old Ringe and then you turn on to Old Peterborough,
Yeah.
and that's where. But the whole of Old Peterborough isn't even passable. There's a middle
Yeah.
chunk that you can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I've gone down
Right.
through there before, years ago, and it's a trail, and then it's through the power
Yeah.
lines, then into the woods again, to
Right.
like nothingness.
And then there's a house on the other end of Old Peterborough
Yeah.
that they have to go up Chapman,
Yes.
which is a private road, to get to that house
What else did
on
we
Old
have on-
Peterborough. So
What's
that's
Talking about roads, what else did we have on
All right. See
January
you guys.
20th?
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Luke.
Good night, Luke.
Have a good night.
Class 6 policy, and then
Oh, okay.
the light and
Yeah.
school bus turn at Timber Top and Hubbard
I just
Pond.
re-forwarded that email to all y'all, so
Thank
it's
you.
fresh in the emails.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
What does the non-public have to do with Lou?
I'll wait till the next meeting. Let's
You
go.
sure?
Yep.
Alright. Second call,
Pass.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.